Hi, this is Tim Layton. I'm with blog.timlaytonphotography.com, where we cover all sorts of black and white film photography. And today I'm going to walk you through all the steps when developing black and white film. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the steps, and I will have a actual link to the blog at the bottom on the title bar here in the video, where you can go read in more depth about this. But basically, after you've already selected your film and you've exposed it, you're going to choose some type of film developer. I'll put a link as well about giving you some guidance of maybe how you might want to go about that. But this video is focused primarily on the steps of after you've made those choices. So the very first step is I pre-soak my film. So what I basically do is imagine that this canister is loaded with film. I pre-soak with tap water, and I actually fill this up, dump it out. My routine is I try and get the anti-halation layer off, which is for Tri-X, it's kind of a blue color. I standardize on Tri-X. I do occasionally shoot other films, and so you might have different colors. Some are a little pinkish, some are blue. But the idea is to pre-soak. That goes for most films. However, there are some films, like in the Ilford category, which it's not recommended to do pre-soaking, so always refer to your manufacturer's spec sheet. But if you're going to do pre-soak, fill it up. I invert it typically 3 times and then pour it out. Repeat that about 3 times, and then we go in. Then the next step is we would have our developer at the right temperature. I always recommend using 68 degrees. We would then pour that in. And then the technique is we start the timer once all the developer is in, and then in this case we're doing Tri-X, and for most films it's more or less like this. But after the canister is full, I always kind of tilt it to the side, tap it, dislodge any air bubbles, and I do 5 cycles. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it stand, and then on 30-second increments you would repeat that, and I would then change my hands the opposite direction. Once again, you'll get the idea, and I do that for the duration of the time. So depending on your developer is going to depend on how long you develop and a lot of other variables. So that's that. Your next step is going to be your stop bath. So you would empty your developer out. I always use my developer as one stop, so I never save that. I go ahead and empty that out, go directly in immediately with the stop bath, and I rotate the entire time, which is 30 seconds for stop bath. I do reuse my stop bath up to about a month, depending on how many rolls of film I develop. I would pour that back into my stop bath container, and I go straight in with the fixer at that point, and then I invert and agitate the entire cycle, which is 5 minutes. And I actually use a rapid fixer. After that's done, I actually do keep my fixer for about 30 days. Once again, I would pour that back into the fixer container. Now the film is light safe. I'm going to remove the top, and I'm going to allow tap water to come in and rinse. I do this for 2 minutes. I let it fill up, empty it out, fill up, empty it out, fill up, empty it out, 3 cycles, and then I allow water to then replenish and flow out of the system for 2 minutes. Then the next step is I always, and I do highly recommend using a hypo clearing agent, where I would fill the container with that, and I would agitate for 4 full minutes with the hypo clear, pour that out. Then we're going to let running water, tap water, come in for a full 10 minutes. And after that's done, the last step is photo flow, which is a wetting agent, where we will basically help the film dry, and we'll keep water from building up, etc. Then we'll hang it and dry it. That's the process in a nutshell for a verbal overview. So in this next segment, I'm going to actually develop a real roll of black and white 35mm Tri-X film, and we'll step through it step by step. Okay, we're going to pre-soak. So I am going to fill the tank up. Tank is full, and what I do is I always put my hand over the hole. I go 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can see this or not, but that's blue. That's the anti-halation layer from the film. That's one cycle. Again, it's full. Still got a blue color to it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a little less. We'll do this one more time. You notice that I'm angling the tank at an angle that makes the water or the fluid go in faster. So I'm going to rotate 3 times again. Still a little bit of blue, but mostly gone. And I fill it up one more time. And what I do is I allow it to just set down in the sink and go for about 30 seconds. And we'll go ahead and start that timer. There's nothing magical about this, so the next step we're going to do is put in the developer. I have tested my developer. It is at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's what I would recommend that you shoot for. But if not, you're going to want to use a temperature conversion chart, which I'll provide you on a link here in the video so that you can be sure to do that. Okay, we've got our pre-soaking done, and now we're adding the developer. You notice that I'm tilting the tank at an angle, pouring in the developer as fast as I can. This is a 16-ounce tank. It's all in. I hit the timer with this hand. I get the lid on and I tap it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tap and set. Okay, I'm going to do this at 30-second intervals. My developer, I'm using Xtol +1, as I said, and I do 5 seconds of agitation on 30-second intervals. Here's our first 30-second mark coming up. So I would grab the opposite hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dislodge, and I'll continue that for 9 minutes in my case, and then we'll be back and do the stop bath. Okay, we're at about 8.5 minutes and counting. Our development time in this case was 9 minutes. So what I'm going to do is empty out the developer here momentarily, and once again I'll remind you that I do all my development as one shot on the developer chemical. So I've got 5 seconds here, and I'm going to pick this up. So I remove the top and I simply just pour this out. I usually rotate when I do that. Next step is we're going to pour in our stop bath. I'm trying to do this at an angle where you can see what's going on. Alright, so the procedure here is pretty simple. I reset the timer. We're going to go for 30 seconds. And I rotate and agitate like this, and we'll just stay on the video here since it's only 30 seconds. And what I'm going to do is, you'll see this blue funnel in this container behind me. That's my stop bath. So I will empty this back into the stop bath container at 30 seconds, and then we're going to pour our fixer in and agitate for a full 5 minutes. So we're at 25 seconds here. Okay, we're now at 30 seconds. So I'm going to pour this back into the stop bath for reuse. Alright, I'll stop, reset my timer, and I'm going to pour my fixer in. I effectively just hit the timer, hit the top on. Now I'm going to rotate this like this for 5 full minutes. So we'll be back before the 5 minutes is up, and we'll go and we'll do the first wash on our film. Okay, we're back. We're at about 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I've been doing this agitation process the entire time. And at 5 minutes, we're going to pour the fixer back into the container. And once again, note that I am using rapid fixer, so 5 minutes is enough time for this. We're at 5 minutes. Remove the top, put the fixer back in. Our film is actually light safe now, so what I actually do is just move this out of the way and turn the water on. I let water, we start this pre-rinse process, but what I do is I sort of just let that kind of go. I zero out my timer, I clean out my funnel while this is happening, put the container back together for my fixer, set that out of the way. And now I'm kind of organized and I get my timer zeroed. I can go ahead and remove this top because we're light safe, so I'll go ahead and do that. And I start the timer because we're going to do this for 2 minutes. You fill that up 3 or 4 times. So it's filled up, it's kind of agitated around like this. You're going to have your own process. This is just what I do and what I choose to do. I'm trying to get the bulk of that fixer off of the film as quick as possible. That's the reason why I choose to do it this way. So, for a third time now, I fill this back up again. We're at about 30 seconds. I'll set that down in the sink, allow that to run for 2 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll do the hypo clearing agent. Okay, we're at 2 minutes, and so I'll go ahead and stop the timer and reset that. And I'll go ahead and empty that out like this. I'll put the Kodak hypo clearing agent in. Now what I do is I'll go ahead and start the timer now. What this is going to do is actually give you a nice, good, healthy, clear film base, and we're going to remove all the unwanted particles off the film. And if we didn't do this and we didn't do long enough fixing, then we would have a very, very pink, undesirable film base. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It's just not something that you want for a lot of reasons. Technical reasons are too lengthy to go into at this stage. So what I do is I sort of pour that a little bit, and I just get a little motion going, and I do this for 4 full minutes. So I'm going to continue to do this for 4 minutes, and then we'll be back for the final wash of 10 minutes. Okay, we're coming up on the end of the 4-minute cycle here for our hypo clearing agent. And we're at 4 minutes. So what I do at this point is I go ahead and dump this out, set my timer. I do the same thing here. I fill this up, I dump it. I do that 3 times. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. We're going to do the final wash of 10 minutes on the film. And we have our 3rd time. And now I just fill it up. Actually just kind of taper that back a little bit. We don't need to be running that much water. We just want a good flow through. I will mention to you that if you live in an area where you have water restrictions and or you have any other reason why you would want to not run your tap water like this for 10 minutes for cleaning, for washing your film, there are other methods out there that you can research in Google. So I just want to give that as some general advice if you need or want to do that for some reason. So I'll let this wash for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back right before this time section is over, and we're going to go with the photo flow, which is the wetting agent, and then we'll go through that process. Then we'll hang our film to dry, and that's it. So we'll be back soon. Okay, we're at 10 minutes now, so we're done with the final wash. So I'll go ahead and dump this out. And in our last step, we're going to take the photo flow. I actually use Kodak photo flow, but there's all sorts of wetting agents. So what I do is I just fill up the container here, set that down, and I don't need to be in any rush here or anything like that. So I go ahead and start the timer here, and what I do is I do a slight agitation like this. I might pour a little bit of that out like this for about 2 minutes, and then we'll hang the film to dry. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, we're almost at 2 minutes here, and what I'm going to do, you'll notice a lot of times that with the wetting agent or the photo flow, you kind of get this foaming. That's normal. What I do is, we're actually done now. I go ahead and dump that out, and if our wetting agent or our photo flow is doing what it's supposed to be doing, we'll be in great shape. I just kind of rinse that out here, see. I don't want any of that on the film, makes it easy enough. And effectively we're done. Now what I would do normally, and we're just doing this video for instructional purposes, is I would have run some hot water in the spare bathroom or whatever for about a minute or so. So I'm grabbing the film here. In this case this is medium format 120. And so you can see the film here. And what I do is I clip up top here like this. This clip has no weight on it, so you would hang this on some type of line or a hanger or something like that. And then this clip has a weight in it, and it holds weight and your film straight. So clip this here, and you'll see that your film will now hang here and dry. Now I would not normally hang this in a window in a situation like this. This is just for illustration purposes, and so I would recommend hanging in a dust-free environment. So this will take care of it. We'll go ahead and do a summary and a wrap-up, and this should take care of you. Okay, so we're doing a wrap-up. So we've gone through the process of everything that you need to develop your film. I've walked you through all the steps. I will have links on the lower title of the video that will refer you back to the blog for some more detailed written information. And hopefully this has been helpful and will get you started in the right direction. And my goal was to show that and not do this in a studio or in a professional environment where most people watching this are probably going to be doing this at home in the kitchen. So that's why I chose to do it here, to show you that it's very simple, it's very possible, it's a ton of fun, and your image quality is literally impeccable. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions or comments, please reach me at blog.timlaytonphotography.com, and I'll be glad to help in any way that I can.